opinions expressed by the participants in this program are those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Gray Media Inc., KTVF, my mother, or the Commissioner of Baseball.
This is a
Well, another Monday, another show. We welcome you to Interior Insights number 11. Wow. We're into double digits now. And our website is webcenterfairbanks.com. Our app is Alaska's news source, Fairbanks. We are releasing this one on January the 12th. Hope this week finds you well. And we, as promised last week, are going to continue visiting with Jim Warren of the MAAST program. Pretty neat program to provide some opportunities for seniors. It may be a little tough to come by other ways, and so that's on the way. And then next week, we're actually going to do something that I thought would be interesting. Again, another one of these ideas we had when we were first trying to conceive of what we would do with this program, and that's to give you a chance to hear from our reporters. And Alex Bengal, who's been with us the longest of the three that are part of the Fairbanks team, is he and I talked a little while back, and we'll play part one of that two-parter because, of course, we're both broadcasters. So when we talk a lot, but and probably should not, at least not without some water. Anyway, show one of that will be next week, with show 2 the following Monday. Now, right off the bat here, let me announce our excitement at KTVF to announce the 2026 Interior Wedding Showcase, which will be held on Sunday, March 8th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Westmark Gold Room in Fairbanks. You know what? This needs tunes. There it is. We invite you to join us at the largest bridal expo in interior Alaska, where brides-to-be can plan and shop for their wedding in one place while grooms stand around dazed. No, that's not right. They help sometimes. Featuring a variety of the finest bridal products and services throughout the state, jewelers, caterers, florists, photographers, DJs, and everything you need to make your wedding dreams come true. It's a free event, open to the public. Vendor spaces are available. And it's first come, first serve for the good spot. You get a table and chairs and a choice of location, depending on how soon you sign up. So if you want to participate, there is a registration form at webcenterfairbanks.com, or more information from Marlene Phillips, our expert on this, marlene.phillips@ktvf11.com. Okay, that's enough. Those orchestras, man, they love their job. Now, again, normally, at this point, we would review something that's been reported on by our local reporters in the news. However, this is another advanced recording because I'm taking a little time off. That doesn't mean, though, that we can't hear a little bit, we can't hear a word from one of our sponsors.
Floss Boss wants your floss. No, not your new floss, your used floss. That's right, don't toss it, sell it. At Floss Boss Recycling, we believe one person's plaque-smeared string is another's treasure. We turn your old floss into cutting-edge fiber technology. Well, mostly just art projects and lanyards, but still, just bag it, tag it, and mail it. Floss Boss will take it from there. Don't lose your floss, profit from it. Floss Boss, making the world a cleaner, stringier place.
Too much? Little too much? My wife said that was gross. And she's right, but still, it's me. Hey, shall we move on to the calendar since we're already framed up for it? We have ourselves actually something very good for the brain coming up here called Chasing the Winter Blues. It's a community resource fair and activity event designed to lift mood and energy during the cold winter. This is going to be Saturday, the 17th, January 17th, from noon to 4 in the Pioneer Park Civic Center. And you can join FNA there and over 20 local organizations as everybody shares the little things that make a big impact. Discover community resources, have some creative experiences in the areas of wellness, mental health, community, family friendliness. If you want more information, you call 907-452 6251, and then the extension 6445. On the other page, we're going to bring this back to the fore. We actually talked about this in our very first show. The Pioneer Park Pickers Weekly Music Jam. That just feels good to say for some reason. It's presented by the Pioneer Park Pickers. Really? It recurs weekly on Tuesdays in the Fairbanks Pioneer Museum and Big Stampede Show, which is in Pioneer Park. Everything's at Pioneer Park this week. 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., and it costs you nothing to participate. They say they're a loosely organized group of musicians who gather on Tuesday evenings at the Pioneer Museum. They welcome acoustic players of all levels and musical styles. Sometimes they'll perform at local events and parades. So come join the free weekly jam Tuesday night for friendship, fun, and lots of good time music. You can't go wrong with music. So it's showtime. Yeah, I mean, what have we been doing up to now? No, it's the important part of the show here with Jim Warren. We talked with him some last week about the MAAST program, and it was an extensive conversation, so we're just going to go right along and bring you the rest of it here. If you want to get caught up on last week's episode, of course, it's available on the website and on the app. And we encourage you, if you know any seniors who fit into the group that is intended to be helped by MAAST, then let them know and maybe share this with them so they can benefit from what's being offered. So Jim Warren on show number 11 of Interior Insights. Okay, so let's emphasize that for a sec. When a person, what do you call a participant or a client? Participant.
Yeah.
So when a participant is in the program, they're being paid by the program.
Yes, $15 an hour.
Oh, okay, all right. And so if you place them wherever, you talked about the senior center or recycling or whatever, any place that you can put them, they don't have to pay that person unless they decide to hire them.
Right.
Okay.
And then there are some, I don't know if I should say, JR, there are some government agencies. So like state agencies, I was mentioning the Division of Public Assistance. I've had a wonderful person with wage and hour administration also in the state building. I've got a really great character who works at the DMV on 3rd Street. She takes the photographs of all the people for their licenses of various kinds, and she's just a wonderful character. And then I've got this. I never expected for this to happen, but I was able to recruit the Division of Environmental Conservation, the DEC. They're over on University Avenue, and they have several offices in their building and different areas that the DEC works in. Well, I first placed this wonderful participant with the Food Safety and Sanitation office, and she whipped through that office in about a year and did all their digital filing and just was a great volunteer for them, and they loved her so much that they are now, the supervisor there is still supervising her, but she's farming her out to colleagues in other offices to help them. So the DEC is really benefiting from the program as well.
That's such a great story, of course, because you not only have the opportunity for a person, one of your participants, to feel useful and learn new things and apply skills, but of course even if they're working in an area that was different from their career, they're still bringing the wisdom and the work ethic that maybe younger people can observe and go, wow, that I'd like to be more like that.
Yes.
Or, just a sense of focus that sometimes can be a little more difficult in a workplace that's all younger, and model that stick to it mentality and take pride in your work and a lot of these sorts of values. You can really see the opportunity for that to go both ways.
Yes, that is so true.
Yeah.
Now, it is also true that, seniors are seniors, y'all. So sometimes they will grumble about the young and about how unfocused they are, and if they look at their phone one more time, they're going to really call them out on it. But I think your description is the way it happens a lot, and that is
we'll call it the ideal.
The ideal, and it's real in a lot of cases. That one of my seniors, he's in his late 70s, and he just started it at the central recycling facility, and he walked in there for the initial meeting with the supervisors, and noted that the front end loader person was not honking when he came in and out of the warehouse building with the machinery. And this man's a very experienced heavy equipment operator. And he said, by the way, and just noted to them, and he's probably 25 to 40 years older than these two supervisors.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how they've already said we're waiting 60 days and then we think we're going to hire him.
You can give 2 months out of it.
He's also somebody who has been a supervisor, right?
Yeah.
And so he brings an awful lot of wisdom to that workplace, and it'll be so interesting to see what winds up happening with them.
How what would you say are some of the biggest challenges facing older job seekers in Alaska?
Oh boy, a lot of my seniors come to me because they have been applying for jobs and not getting callbacks, and or just nothing happens, and they will say that they feel like there is ageism, and I'll bet that's true. And then another challenge they face, I think, is I work very closely with the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, DVR, and their office, is across from it's on Lacey Street, across from the McKinley Bank parking lot there. And DVR is amazing, the work they do for, hundreds and hundreds of disabled people who in our community who are seeking work. And I have a lot of co-clients with them, and they refer people to me, I refer people to them. And we really form a team to try to help people from both sides. So I think people with disabilities are subject to some I don't want to say
a
exactly
lack of
prejudice,
enthusiasm.
but kind of an assumption made about what they're capable of. And a lot of my participants who are actually physically disabled are incredibly able,
So how do you, given some of these challenges, how do you attack those then? How do you overcome them?
Oh, I think as far as placing my folks with agencies, I think we always have a meet and greet kind of meeting to make sure the match is a good match. And I think only once or maybe twice in the 2.5 years I had to miss that meeting, but I like to be at that meeting because I will talk to the participant about the agency, and I'll talk to the agency folks about this participant, and I feel like I'm the kind of moderator of that meeting. So that sometimes can help.
Just educating. Explaining that what you may think maybe you don't exactly know.
And here's another way it works too. This is kind of a cool strategy that we've been developing the last year or so, and that is, so DVR, vocational rehab, can set up work experiences where they are paying the client to work at a business, and for 40, 60, 120 hours. And if it goes well, who knows, maybe that business will hire the client.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, what we've been doing is setting up 40 or 60 hours of work experience with one of my host agencies and through DVR. And if the client works well there, then I enroll them in MAAST. And I've been working with them meanwhile, even though they aren't officially my participant yet. And that there are about a half dozen. I've got 21 participants right now, and I'd say there's 6 or 8 that are also DVR clients, and it's interesting because a lot of them are several of them. We've done this team effort of a work experience that then leads to a MAAST placement, a MAAST assignment, and it's kind of a nice way to do the trial period, and it's worked out really well.
Well, it sounds like you've got a wide array of different ways to try to get somebody into where they're meant to be, for lack of a better way of putting it. To get them to something that's going to work for them and help them to apply themselves. And I mean, it's neat to hear about how many different ways that can be done, and this interagency coordination that you're talking about too. That you're not trying to just do it alone, but you got all of these other groups to coordinate with.
Yeah, and the same for my colleagues in the job center. My goodness, I used to joke, that I've got 2 bosses. One who runs the MAAST program for the state, and she lives in Juneau, and then I've got my nonprofit boss who lives in the Anchorage area, and then in the job center I've got about a dozen more bosses, but they don't boss me around, but they've been mentors to me.
Good.
And they're employment technicians, a lot of them, and caseworkers, and they know how to do this stuff. And it's been fantastic. I have learned like tons from all of these wonderful people. None of them is my age.
No.
I'm at least 10 years older than the senior most person in that job center. And some of them are like younger than my daughters.
Yeah.
But it's been fantastic, That's another interagency kind of work that we do.
Well, you seem to care about this work an awful lot. What is it that motivates you and keeps you passionate about MAAST?
Well, I'm still pretty new at it. 2.5 years. I remember when I first started, one of my job center friends said, well, you'll probably really get to know how to do your job in about 3 years.
Oh, good.
So I'm almost
You're getting there.
And I guess one of the things I guess keeps me going with it is these are real interesting people. They all have amazing stories, I've started writing these short little pieces for Senior Voice Alaska, and sort of highlight some of my participants and the host agency at the same time. So I'm hoping in either November or December I'll have a new article coming out. It's called the Salvation Army Club, and it's about 3 ladies who work at the thrift store here in Fairbanks, and they're all new to the program and a marvelous team, and then I get to talk about the Salvation Army a little bit, and about the MAAST program, and about these characters, and how that all fits together. It's a lot of fun. So it's good stories.
Well, if if maybe you feel like you haven't been there long enough to go through the phases of motivation and demotivation that come with time. How about, is there a most memorable moment that stands out for you in the time you've been there so far?
Wow, most memorable. That's a rough one.
Because there's too many?
There's so many. I've had a guy, I feel like he's almost not, he's not a participant anymore. He had to exit because of medical problems. And he exited, and I was already working with him on trying to help him. He needed hip replacement surgery. He still needs it. And it's been 2 years that he's been trying to get it here in Fairbanks and in Anchorage.
Yeah.
He has a lot of other physical problems as well, but he also had nowhere to live. And he was camping out in a dry cabin that a friend was letting him squat in. And then I said, "You really cannot stay here." This was last October.
Yeah.
And I said, "Dude, I'm moving you into the rescue mission whether you like it or not, and let's go." And so we packed up his few things and put him in the mission. And but then the senior center helped me get him into an apartment, and then I worked with some other agencies, and we got him a person who helps him Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 4 hours a day, just helping him with keeping his apartment clean. And he's he's almost he can get around a little bit, but he's really not very mobile and not very strong. And it's just he and I would get on the phone like 2 or 3 times a week and try to get his medical business taken care of. And he would call me at various times, and like I'd be at home, and the office phone forwards to my cell phone, and so I'd be at home after work, and the phone would ring before supper, and I'd look up at my wife, and she'd say, "Is that John?"
Yeah.
Not his name.
Yeah.
Is that John?
Yeah.
And I said, "Of course."
Yeah,
so,
boy.
That kind of relationship is it's very meaningful.
Sure.
Right? And I don't know. It's just been a great experience for me.
Yeah. Well, it really sounds like it. I mean, I really enjoyed your presentation at Rotary, which is where we didn't even have a chance to meet because you were swamped after you talked. So I just said, well, I'm going to track him down and ask him to come in and be with us. But you clearly have a passion for it. And
Thank you.
I'm wondering, what advice would you give to mature Alaskans about joining the program or thinking about joining the program? What do you really want them to know?
Well, I think if I would say if you're interested in getting back in the workplace, and if you need help in figuring out how that could happen, then come see me. I'm in my office Monday through Thursday from just after 8 o'clock until about 3:30 or so, and my door is almost always open. And so one of the best ways to do it is just come in and let's talk, let's meet, and I get to know you a little bit and tell you about the program directly. That's really the best way that individual folks can try to see what they think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I get an awful lot of drop-ins. People just dropping in and saying, well, I saw your flyer at, somewhere in the community, and I thought I'd just come by and say hi and tell you my story. And often those drop-in folks are like the best ones, and just a lot of fun. So
on the other side of it then, again, we were sort of thinking there about speaking to a potential participant. On the other side of that, what would be one misconception about older workers that you would like to correct in the community's mind?
I think one thing I would say is don't sell seniors short, even if they have physical limitations or behavioral limitations. That doesn't mean that they cannot be really supportive and really helpful in the workplace. And that problem of ageism, I mean, it is true, y'all, and we should recognize this. When you get into your 80s, you're an advanced senior, and 20 hours a week of some kind of activity is going to seem like a lot, and
Sure.
it is. But I was telling the Rotary Club this story. One of my most amazing characters is 90 years old and works at the food bank, and she's legally blind.
Oh, yeah?
And she won't give it up. She is just amazing and is a firecracker. And one of my favorite folks. She's just a gem. And then I have others in their 80s who are still active. Some more frail than others, but they keep trying and keep going. So that's one thing I would say to everyone is that both to the seniors and to people who are wondering about whether seniors can still function well in the workplace, and I'm seeing that they can.
Yeah.
And even when they are beyond so-called retirement age,
For anybody that's watching or listening that would like to become involved, that maybe isn't in charge of an agency or is not a prospective participant, is there anything that average community members can do to support your efforts?
Oh gosh. Well, I would say if you know of someone who might benefit from the program, it doesn't have to be you. It may be somebody you know at your church or somebody that you just happen to know. Why not tell them about the program and mention that they could come by and see me? That'd be great, because we were saying this the other day. Getting the word out is like we're doing here now. This is fantastic, and it's really, really helpful to just tell people about the program. And then the other thing I would say is it's really supportive if you want to do something to help. Man, go to the volunteer at the food bank or one of the agencies. Like, they depend on volunteers, and they're not going to say, well, you have to work this much, every week. That's not how they do it. They say, please, what can you do? And if you can come for 2 hours every Thursday, that's going to make a difference. And guess what will happen? You'll get to know all those people in that host site, and you'll get to know MAAST participants there. And the next thing you know, man, you're part of this whole story that's happening. So I think that's the other thing I would say to people. If you have time to give a little bit of your time to these wonderful community service organizations, I would say do that.
Yeah, well, and you've said very well something that I've reiterated with a number of our guests, is that sometimes it's easy to think if you're going to go volunteer somewhere, it's all about what they get out of it, which is good and is certainly a good reason. But the thing a lot of people don't realize sometimes until they actually try it is how much they get back out of it.
That is so true.
Whether it's this community of other people that you work with, who then, you maybe break bread later and you celebrate each other's birthdays and whatever.
No, that's so true.
Get together to play poker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot, when we were saying, well, so how do I keep going with this challenging inspiring work, and I get a lot out of it. You know, a lot. It's very gratifying. Sometimes it'll feel frustrating if somebody you're trying to support and help just isn't able to do it. It happens.
Yeah.
And I've had folks I've had to exit from the program, because they couldn't make it to the host agency regularly.
Right.
And then they'll come back to see me and they'll say, "Well, do you hate me?" And it's like, I don't hate you at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry it didn't work out, but it's we're still talking.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's just been very. It's like you said, JR. It's just been it's a meaningful and in most ways really significant kind of work.
Well, I'm glad that you and the agency found each other, because it clearly seems to be a good fit. All right. You ready for the lightning round?
Oh, lightning round.
It's time for the lightning round.
Oh, I didn't know we did this. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
surprise. That's coffee or tea?
Me? Coffee.
Yeah, coffee. All right. Cats or dogs?
I love them both. I would have said dogs until about 5 years ago.
Oh, man.
And now the princess of the household is a cat.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Really?
With blueberries.
Where do you put the syrup, though? You don't have a little...
I'm not that crazy about if they got blueberries in the pancakes. I don't care about the syrup.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
All right. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, my gosh. I used to say Chinatown.
Yeah?
I love that movie.
Why, you don't like it anymore? Did you change your mind?
I do, but I've seen so many good movies over the last 30, 40 years that it's hard to say.
All right. Well, then, if you could have a useless superpower, what would it be?
A useless superpower.
Yeah.
I'd love to be invisible.
Yeah. I don't know if that qualifies as useless, but it's intriguing. Weirdest food you've ever eaten?
I've eaten deep fried calf brain.
Really?
Yeah, it was in of all places in Vienna, Austria. But
wow.
yeah. And my former
you said cat?
Calf.
Oh, calf. Okay.
So my former
I was going to ask how many lives does that add?
That's why I love cats
deep fried
so much,
calf brain. All right.
Yeah.
And
so my
did what?
former German teacher was with me, and she said, "You must try this." And I was so in love with her. I was like, "Yes, I will eat this calf brain."
All right. Last one. If you had a time machine, what event would you love to witness?
What event? Sorry.
What event? If you had a time machine, what event would you love to witness?
Oh. Okay. I know. How about, here's one. I'd love to witness the signing of the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
How about that? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, lately I've been reading a lot about the gold stampedes in Alaska.
Oh, yeah?
So I'd love to go back. Like, what would it be like to go back to like 1902 and see Felix Pedro and E.T. Barnett meet up at the Chena River? Wouldn't that be cool?
We tell that story on the riverboat sometimes, and of course, I'm sure there are many iterations of it. But the part of it that I love, and the version that I heard anyway, is that Pedro was out wherever he was, and he saw the smoke from the Lavelle Young. Is that the version of it you heard too?
Yes.
Yeah, so he saw that, and that's how they hooked up. So
Yes.
go sternwheelers. They're obviously critical. Jim, it's been a delight. I'm really glad you accepted the invitation. I hope that the time we've spent together will help do what you said you wanted to get the word out there.
Thanks.
And please keep in touch with me if anything comes up. And
likewise.
I hope we'll get to visit again.
Yeah. Thank you, JR.
Thank you so much, Jim Warren, for all of that time and insight into, again, I know I've said it a bunch, but a very surprising program that I had no idea existed until I saw him speak at Rotary. And in the way of summary again here, if you're 55 or older, unemployed and need help to get ready to work, or if you're looking for an opportunity to gain employable skills, MAAST provides training at host sites for up to 20 hours a week at minimum wage in a variety of areas, including senior centers and thrift shops and warehouses, but it can go well beyond that, obviously. Jim Warren's contact information is phone at 451-5918, and you can email him at jimw@serrc.org. Next on the agenda is sharing one of your beautiful photos that was sent in to us at webcenterfairbanks.com for the Fab Photo Collection. Those photos, some of them could end up in our beautiful calendar here. Look, it does tricks. And there may still be some of those out there. I'm not 100% sure, but, because they're popular. So look at the website, and you'll see all the different locations where you can get one. It's a bunch of locations, and we'd be sitting here for a long time if I did them all. But Jasmine Pace, what a nice job on North Lights. And I don't want to do it injustice by describing it to the listen-only audience, so we will once again use the descriptionator to do that part. That's my new assistant for doing this part, which I don't always have the brain power to do.
This is French.
Brilliant curtains of aurora stretch across a dark night sky, glowing an intense pink with hints of green near the horizon. The colorful light fans upward above a low, dark tree line and faintly lit clouds, giving the scene an otherworldly, almost surreal atmosphere.
See, there again. It's like I said, I don't use words like otherworld. I can't even pronounce otherworldly. So, Jasmine Pace, North Lights, excellent work. Thanks for sending that in. And if you, yes, you, I'm talking to you, you want to send us a photo of something amazing? WebCenterFairbanks.com. It's very easy. Submit it. We might highlight it here, and you'll get a bonus descriptionator, whatever that is. So what could possibly be next here? Oh, that's right.
It's time for the thing of the day, 'cause every day has things.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with immeasurable glee that I present to you National Hot Tea Day. You know, there's just something special and soothing about the warmth and comfort of a simple cup of hot tea. Whether it's just a no-fuss cup of black English breakfast tea, or it's something a little more unique like an herbal tea or a chai latte, hot tea is a delicious beverage that's enjoyed the world over. And it's the perfect time to appreciate this simple but foundational beverage because it's National Hot Tea Day. Originally hailing from China, hot tea has a long history that dates back almost 5,000 years. One story goes that an emperor was sitting under a tree with his hot water when some dried leaves fell into it, and the rest, as they say, is history. Really? Well, I must say I'm glad there weren't any large birds in that tree because, I mean, I've seen what they do to my car. You know, I don't need that with hot water and stevia. And so, once again, KTVF has been unable to prevent Interior Insights, show number 11, available at webcenterfairbanks.com or our mobile app, Alaska's news source Fairbanks. I am available to interact with you at jrlewis@ktvf11.com. Email whenever the spirit moves. And on behalf of us here, in the first week of the new never mind. Just get out of it. Hope you have and Alex Bengal next week. Don't forget about that. Hope you have a great week. Bye.